I put it at the top of my list. I can't finish the movie.
Last act of that movie just completely shook us to our core physically.
I had to stop. I had to stop and step away.
Hello and welcome to episode 6 of the Icons of Fright podcast. That is correct. We are back. I'm one of your hosts and the co-creator of Icons of Fright, Robert Galluzzo. I am joined by the other co-creator of Icons of Fright, Mike Cucinotta. How are you, sir?
Hello. I'm doing great.
And
I'm really happy that we're doing this.
Yeah, me too. And last but certainly not least is one of the key contributors to Icons of Fright and the co-author of our book, Adam Barnick. Hello.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning. And we are back because we've gotten back together because on the cusp of our 20th anniversary, now going on 22, we have done a book called Icons of Fright, 100 Interviews with Legendary Horror Filmmakers, which you can get right now on Amazon. And we had done 5 episodes, or if you want to think of it as our first season, kind of contextualizing and telling stories about all these interviews that are in the book. But as they say in Scream these days, you got to have a sequel. So we are back, and we're gonna. And Jason Albino's not here.
I think in Scream these days they're saying "burn it all down." That's actually what they're saying in Scream these days. But,
yes, that's true.
And I agree.
Yes, we're not at our burn it down phase yet. Yeah, we're not at the burn it down phase yet. Soon. But yeah, I thought, well, obviously, Jay Alvino's not here. He will return, but he's not here for scheduling conflicts, number one. And number two, because I picked a topic for this episode, and he claims he hasn't watched a new horror movie in 6 years, which is hilarious to me. So he thinks he can't contribute, but we'll get to that later.
I was coming up with slogans that he could use, like, if it's not from 88, pour on the hate. Stuff like that.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, that sounds like
not from 89, not worth my time. No.
Who's watching movies
Actually,
these days? I'm not watching movies. I watch movies. I just do Beefy Frank.
And watch old wrestling.
He's gonna this may change his mind though, because I think we have plenty of good
No, I think we have some
about.
good stuff. Yeah, great things.
I think so too. And so the topic is basically the top 6 of the last 6 years. And this came about because I used to co-host a podcast called Shockwaves, and before that, Killer POV, where we would talk about horror every week. And obviously, like most people, the pandemic, the last thing I wanted to do was watch, dour material. So I kind of stepped back from the genre, but I, of course, watched key titles throughout the years. And when I bump into people that used to listen to my old podcast, they always ask me like, "Hey, so tell me what do I need to seek out?" And I'm like, not for free. I'm not going to give you that information for free. You'll have to tune in one day when I do a podcast, and this is it. But also, as much as I talk, obviously we all talk to each other regularly. The irony is, besides the Icons book, I don't think any of us have talked about horror in the last 6 years with each other. So I actually don't know what your top 6 is going to be. I have no idea what the other guys are going to pick. So I think what we'll do is we'll count backwards from 6. I just thought, 6 years, 6 picks. And then I have a couple of notable mentions, things that I thought were really cool. And before people freak out at home, look, this is just our opinion. We're not saying these are the 6 best movies that the genre has ever seen in the last couple of years. These are just the ones that spoke to us personally that we think you should see.
In some cases, it's the only movie I saw that year. So that's, that's also true.
Well, and Mike, tell me, because obviously you're in Brooklyn and there's a little bit of a Brooklyn horror scene there. You go to the horror trivia regularly and you have the Nighthawk Cinema. So do you get to see, is it more that you're seeing repertory stuff there in Brooklyn? Is that kind of what the scene is all about? Or do you go see all the new stuff too?
No, it's more repertory. It's more repertory and cult that I'm seeing in Brooklyn. But that's just me. There's always new stuff going on. IFC Center is still there, Field Forum, the Angelica is still open. It's just getting out to places is, it's tougher these days. So it's a lot of repertory. But there's the Brooklyn Horror Film Festival every October, and you can see a ton of new stuff. I saw a bunch of new stuff there. I think we touched on that briefly at some point. But I watched. I saw. Carmageddon, which is the film from the writer of the Serbian film there, which
Oh,
our
wow.
friend Heather Buckley is a producer on. And I saw David
Wow.
Kitterich's documentary on The Exorcist 2, Borman and the Devil, which is
Oh,
phenomenal.
yeah, we
So
have to start there
yeah,
before we jump
yeah,
in, because you are the
yeah.
number one Exorcist 2 fan on the
Mm,
planet. Is
Question
it
one
all
in
is,
the
you
world.
wanted
why are
it to
you
be?
not in it?
Yeah.
It's well, it's beyond what I want. It's beyond what I wanted. It was beyond my expectations. There's it's so easy, I think, with The Exorcist 2 is to put it in this box as the worst movie ever made or the worst sequel ever made, and to have a bunch of talking heads, make fun of it for an hour and a half. But David didn't do that at all. That's not the approach. The approach is an examination of Borman as an auteur, an examination of the end of the new Hollywood era, where the studios are still throwing a tremendous amount of money at these guys who are making what are really smaller movies, but they're spending a fortune on them. So it's that collapse of that. It's a reassessment of Borman's career. He talks a lot. He talks about Zardoz. He talks about Excalibur a little bit. And of course the core of it is the making of The Exorcist 2, which was a nightmare production, a nightmare runaway production. It kind of hits all those things that I love, that fascinate me. Runaway. My main fascination with The Exorcist 2 is that it's a movie with a lot of great talent, a
Mm.
tremendous amount of talent. Borman, you've got Maury Cohen doing the score, William Fraker doing the cinematography. So, some of the best actors of the '70s are in it, and it just doesn't work. You know
Yeah.
that. If you haven't seen it, try it. It doesn't work. But there's fundamentally a great movie in there. There's the shape of a great movie. There's the ideas, there's concepts in there, there's philosophical concepts that are touched on that are really advanced and deep. But it doesn't work as a movie. It doesn't work as a sequel to The Exorcist. So it talks about that. Um, and he's got a great lineup, some really great critics, filmmakers in it, and it's more serious than it is making fun of it. It's fascinating. The whole making of that movie is fascinating. I thought I knew everything about it, and I learned so much. You're going to see it this year. He's probably going to sell it soon. It's going to get picked up. It'll be all over the place, but it's absolutely worth sitting down, even if you have zero interest in The Exorcist 2. If you have any
Yeah.
interest in filmmaking in the '70s, it's an outstanding documentary.
Yeah. I can't wait
I'm
to see
glad.
it. And I mean, Borman's not a bad filmmaker. I mean, he's made some legit classics.
No,
I
no,
pre-ordered
he's
Excalibur, so that's coming soon. I mean, he's a
phenomenal.
great filmmaker.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I love movies about making of movies.
yep.
I'm glad to hear it's not just a train wreck recap or a this is what went wrong kind of thing.
And that's why I'm not in, because that's what I would do. But no,
You
it's
could tell
phenomenal.
your Linda Blair story where she's, why you don't.
Pointing at
Oh,
you. I
don't wait
gotta.
to my wife pointing at me.
I'll tell you guys a quick funny story about that. So a couple of months ago, I'm friendly with Ryan Lambert, who was Rudy in the Monster Squad, and he needed a place to crash while he was in LA, so he was here, and we were chit chatting, and we usually talk about music and things like that. And I don't know how, but The Exorcist 2 came up. And to be quite frank, I've never made it through that movie. I've only made it through Mike C's cut, because Mike edited his own version of that movie, which is much shorter and more succinct and better. But anyway, I'm talking to him and I'm like, I've never made it through The Exorcist 2. And he's like, I've never made it through The Exorcist 2. And it's like, okay, is tonight the night? Are we going to make it through The Exorcist 2? And so we put it on. And I mean, I did thoroughly enjoy watching it that night, but there was this like little surreal moment where I look over and I'm like, oh my God, I'm on my couch watching Exorcist 2 with Rudy from the Monster Squad, and we are middle-aged men. like I am in the club officially. We are all older and grayer monster kids. This is it.
Yep.
So that was kind of funny. But
It
all right,
sounds like
so
dream logic, though. It's like I was suddenly in a theater and I was watching Exorcist 2, and the guy from the
yeah.
Monster Squad was next to me. And
Yes, it was not a dream, apparently. So, okay, so let's kick in. I'll kick us off. Let's start with number 6, our top 6 of the last 6 years. For me, it's a feature from 2025, and it is Bring Her Back, which is written and directed by Danny and Michael Philippou, who are Australian. God, am I getting that right? Yeah, they're Australian filmmakers. And I this movie is, here's the thing, most of my picks, and this has just been the case in general with movies of the last several years, I don't really see movies more than once anymore. It's not the same as like us revisiting the things that we grew up with and watching them over and over again. I like to have the one-time experience and think of how that made me feel and think back on it. Now, I loved their first film, Talk to Me. So with
Mhm.
this one is a very dark, dour. I mean, it's everything I expect from true horror, which is it really kind of shook me to my core, and it grapples with the themes of grief. It's got this incredible performance. It's all anchored by this incredible performance by what's her name? Sally Hawkins. Am I getting her name right? Shit, I should have
Yes.
written this
Yeah,
down.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sally Hawkins is incredible in it. And really, the thing I love about these brothers is because obviously they come from an almost like like they used to
Mhm.
do these YouTube videos that were more on the comedic side or like bordering on like jackass style stuff, like just stunts and craziness. But here they are making these serious genre films, and within the first 5 minutes of this film, the main character is this young partially blind Asian girl, and the opening 5 minutes is her desperately trying to talk to other girls and these other schoolgirls, and the other schoolgirls are just so shitty to her. And it's like, and then her brother comes along, and it's kind of like I think it's like a beautiful magic trick. The way that they make you fall in love with this lead character right away because of how she's being treated. And all you could think is, oh my God, please don't let anything bad happen to her or brother because I'm already on these kids' side. And I think that is the signature of some great,
Mhm.
great filmmakers and
Right.
storytellers. So I haven't been brave enough to revisit it since. Because again, it's bleak. It's a bleak horror movie, but I really loved it, and I think these guys are incredible filmmakers. And based on our interview in the Icons of Fright book, I have even more respect for them because
Mhm.
it literally came down to an ultimatum. It was either this or the big budget remake of Street Fighter,
Street Fighter, yeah.
and they chose this. So more power to you. I hope they keep making movies like this because they are
Right.
a force to be reckoned with and a great voice in the genre right now. So that's my number six. Bring her back.
All right. Well, I thought we were gonna go by year, so I did a
Yeah, me
top
too.
six
Oh,
for each year.
oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh,
Oh my God. I
oh,
can I
that's
don't
how
need, I
well
didn't
we're
do that at
prepared.
all.
Well,
All right, we'll go.
let me just piggyback on that. That I for if this was the top six for 2025, this was Springerback was my top pick. Um,
Okay.
but I'm going to say something controversial. I really I loved it, and it it is here's my controversial take is I put it at the top of my list. I can't finish the movie. I
Mm,
cannot finish this film. There is a turn in this movie that moved me so much that I had to stop the movie. I had to stop the movie and like go for a walk. And I haven't been
yeah.
able to go back to it. Mark watched it. Mark finished it. That's my partner. Um, but I was so to have a movie that it's so rare to have a movie that affects you just like that. It just is so unusual these days with how thin some horror movies can be. And I just have to give it that. It's not that I had to stop it because I don't like it. I just it just hurt too much. This movie hurt
Yeah.
so much to watch
Emotionally. Yeah.
emotionally that I couldn't continue. And I have to give it like it's my highest compliment I think I could give a genre film that it just pushed me that far. And it's and we've watched some over the years some really nasty, mean-spirited movies, and this isn't a mean-spirited movie. It's it's really heartfelt. It's a lot of heart and soul, and you care so much for the people in it. And it's just something I had to stop. I had to stop and step away. And I know I will finish it because I want to. I want to see where it goes. I want to get finish the bad vibes that it was giving me. Um, but yeah, it's that's the only time I think in 20 years I could say something like that's happened to me with a film. And I have to and I still want to give it, my highest praises.
Yeah, I think it lands in a very, not to spoil anything, but I think it lands in a very satisfactory place where when I go back to see it again, I will at some point, it will it will lessen the blow, but it's still,
Mhm.
yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's
There's
hard.
some upsetting stuff in there.
Yeah,
But that's the power of that movie. And I mean,
it's powerful.
that's what great genre filmmaking is. I mean, I can't imagine being, I don't know, a 14-year-old kid right now and seeing that movie and what it's going to
Yeah.
do to you. So, all right. What about you, Adam?
I actually haven't seen it. It because
Oh,
of the kind of things I'm hearing. It's like it's brilliant, it's heartfelt, it's emotional. I do not want to see it again. Just because it sounds like punishing, but not in, like you said, not in a nasty way. But
yeah.
I'm stunned to see these young guys. Are all going to talk to me, but like just tap into
Mhm.
grief in a way. I mean, there's lots of movies to talk about grief and trauma, but they don't
Right.
accurately depict the nuances. It's usually
Yeah.
just like a character who lost their partner and they're
Right.
sad, and somehow
Yeah.
they're over it by act two. But
Yeah. No, they
films
have the
where like,
magic of making you like remember your own personal grief and see it in
Oh
the
yeah.
film. You know,
and
that's what
Yeah.
it
and
is.
Yeah.
they really understand how it's going to alter everything.
Mm, yeah.
I will talk about that and talk to me, but I'm sure Bring Her Back is going to be a stronger dose of that medicine.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you have a
but
number six, or did you also go by
yeah,
year? I'm
well
so
now
sorry, guys.
I'm all over the place because I had six for the six, but they weren't necessarily one per year, and then I changed the numbers. So I'm just going to say what I think would be my number six is actually a movie from 2020. It's called Relic. It's Natalie Erica James
Oh
feature
yeah,
debut.
yeah.
Uh, this, without getting too plotty, it's a woman who reconnects with her elderly mother after she's gone missing and then mysteriously returns. She brings her daughter along, and eerie things start happening.
Mm.
This is a movie I've never seen that depicts. It's about dementia, but it's kind of dementia as an outside force infecting a family in a way. Uh, you're becoming lost in the labyrinthine corners of this older woman's mind, and it's reflected in things like the structure of the house. There's a scene where someone gets lost in these corridors that shouldn't really be there, which puts you. It's kind of what you were just saying with the Talk to Me brothers, where you're in the experience. You don't have to. I'm sure this hits harder if you've had a parent suffer or a grandparent suffer, but they know how to depict the storytelling in a way where you're lost in it too. Strange turns and like the unremembered passages in a house. It's like physical form of this older woman's fear and bewilderment. So the
Mm,
house is deteriorating as characters
Mm.
are. It's also an interesting experience if you're going to talk about grieving, how grieving somebody who's still alive
mm.
because
Yeah,
they're gone, but they're not.
yeah.
And it has
Mm.
definitely a very quiet, slow burn, dream logic vibe that is just my favorite thing about horror films is always the atmosphere. That tends to be sometimes what will make something a fave versus just the, say, strength of the script.
Sure.
Um, and this one, and the ending hits hard. It's a sad film. It's not all the way through, but it's made me really excited for the future films that Natalie does. I know she was hired for it's like a Rosemary's Baby prequel series. I think it's called
Yeah.
Apartment 7 or
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet. I mean, mainly because what's interesting is the only draw is that it's her. Because yeah,
Mm,
Relic is a great film, but I remember,
Mm.
I think it was 2017 when I was watching a lot of short films, and it's as you both know, it's really hard for shorts to stand out, like because either they're too ambiguous or whatever. She did a short called Creswick that
isn't that the one that's the
scared the shit out of me. It is
cool?
so
Yeah.
good. And it's short and it's just got a great like haunting image in it. And so I was happy that she got to do a feature with Relic. And yeah, I want to continue seeing her films. I mean, maybe I'll give Apartment 7A a chance, but
She
um
she has a brand new one, and of course, the title's escaping me, but I think it's just premiered.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think it's
Was
called
this? I haven't seen Relic. Was that the COVID summer movie that was always in the box office top 10 because it was the one movie that was out in
I don't
theaters?
think
I just
so.
know
yeah,
I
that it
mean,
was.
it was in theaters. I
It was
mean,
kind of
I
a hit.
wasn't in
it was
town.
2020. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
2020. So it
2020.
got a little
Yeah.
bit lost in the shuffle of COVID,
Yeah.
but yeah, she's a rock solid filmmaker, and yeah,
Right.
that's a good pick.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, my number five now. This is one from 2021. It is a French filmmaker. She's made 3 features now. I've seen all 3 of them. I was fortunate enough to watch her new movie on the plane from Paris back here because it's already out there, and it is called Titane.
Oh yeah.
And it is
Oh,
Julia.
this might
Hopefully, I'll
want to
be able to
see.
say her name. Julia Ducournau is, I think, is how you say it. Now, her first film is called Raw,
Mhm.
and I think it's an excellent, excellent debut feature. I think it's great, and I rather like her new film a lot called Alpha. However, I think Alpha is in terms of filmmaking craft, I think Alpha is kind of on the same wavelength as Raw, whereas this, her second feature, is outstanding. It is. I often say that I know that David Cronenberg's kids are making films, but there's 2 French women that are really doing Cronenberg justice, and this is one of them. And yeah, the less you know about this movie, the better.
It's
But
very hard to describe.
I mean, I can't really. I mean, part crash, I guess, but really, I mean, a girl who is kind of disguising herself as the long lost son of a grieving father, and
Hmm.
a very complicated dynamic. But some of the most beautiful, uh, beautiful yet, like, how do I say it? Like, the imagery is just incredible. Just an incredible director. I was talking to a friend about it last night, and we were talking about how the opening sequence and all. So, and again, if you don't know who she is, you should. So her first movie is called Raw. Titan is the second one. The third one is Alpha, which I believe Neon is putting out here in the States in March. So and that's from 2021. That's my number 5 pick.
Okay. So should
Mike,
I do by
You're up,
year
Mike.
since that's what I prepared for, or should I
sure.
just
Yeah.
continue? All right. Well, I mean, I guess should I go backwards from 2025? We talked about
Yeah,
bring her back. Should I go to
yeah,
2024?
yeah.
Very
Let's
well
do that.
prepared. So I just
I'm
had
gonna
that so
bounce
many
around then.
I had so many movies from 2024 that I loved. I put a few down. Um, I My top pick for 2024 was this Irish movie called Oddity. I don't know if
Ooh,
you've got a chance to
Yes.
see Oddity.
we're gonna talk.
Oddity is phenomenally. It's kind of it's kind of a haunted house, maybe a haunted statue movie. It's really quiet. It plays around with time a little bit. It plays around with um like sort of the expectations of the character, and it's really spooky. And I watched it. I just hadn't caught up with it. I've been hearing about it for a couple of months, and I decided to watch it a couple of months ago. It was like the perfect like October afternoon movie. It closed the shades, and I put this thing on, and I just felt the season, and I felt the chill in the air, and it was a beautiful movie. So what did you think about it, Adam?
Uh,
You saw it as well?
yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm gonna
Are we
spoiler
gonna get
alert.
to that one?
It's gonna be my number one. Yeah,
It's gonna
but
be oh okay.
and I
Number
think I remember
Second
you
one.
talking of it as like kind
number
of a cozy blanket movie. But we'll
right.
it's
I
yeah, yeah.
just th-
I'll
there
expand
was
on
just
it.
also so many other movies. 2024, we were eating well that year. Apparently, I put
Mhm.
down Strange Darling, which we just watched a few months ago with Mark. It looks great, and I loved it. And I liked In a Violent Nature. I would have probably bumped that up a little further. I may be like one of the only people who did everybody else like that?
I
Did you
thought
see In
I,
a Violent Nature?
I
Did you
thought it was
avoid it because they
really
told
cool.
you it was a POV movie? Because I avoided it
Yes.
for 2 months because people said it's a POV movie, and I'm thinking about other movies that did that. Like I don't know, was that Hardcore Harry or something from a couple years ago where
Yes.
I couldn't
Yes.
even watch the fucking thing because it's shaking too much. And I just thought this was not. It was real. I think they oversold the gimmick, and
Yes.
it didn't seem gimmicky to me
No, I feel the
because
same. I feel the same as you. Yeah.
it's more like not a POV movie. It's more like a slasher movie told from the B camera, you know? And there's some great like shots and there's some great kills in it, some brutal stuff in it.
Yeah.
Which I'm
I
sure the yoga girl getting whatever they did to her, turn her inside out. And it's got that like spooky um like summer camp vibes. It felt great. It was definitely one of my favorites.
it's
What was that
I
Yeah.
Worst
And
Omen
to my
one of them?
honorable mention is an ambient horror movie. I
Yeah.
saw it.
Yeah.
I think it's because it's telling a story you've seen 600 times. So your
Right.
brain immediately goes
Yeah,
to
yeah,
expecting this type of storytelling, and it
right.
never does that. So
No,
I was quite unsettled and entertained because
Yep.
it never went the way my slasher muscle memory would have, in terms of how
Right.
it was
Yeah,
20
portrayed.
2024 also has the first. I put a few like honorable mentions, but I
yeah.
think I told you guys I have like a couple that I'm calling I liked it, you probably hated it. And 2024, M. Night Shyamalan puts out Trap
Oh yeah,
with the serial killer concert movie, and
yeah.
I liked it. I
I
liked it
had
a
a
lot.
blast.
It's very
Yeah.
it had a blast. It's a real fun movie with
I
He's enjoyably, he's like, I'm gonna do a awesome B movie, and it was great.
it's a total. He's doing all these movies where nobody's like not a line of dialogue that escapes people's mouths that sounds like it comes from a real human being. And none of the movie's kind of just is a logical mess. But
yeah.
I had a blast. Yeah.
I'm on the hated camp of that one, but as I told you, Mike, when it came out and I first saw it, it was like, man, this is the sort of thing that Hitchcock would have killed to make back
Yeah.
when he was still alive making films, but M Night feels the same, and he's doing it in an era when Hitchcock would have made the movie instead of in 2024 or whatever year it came out. But yeah, I guess it's silly fun. I will say Josh Hartnett's performance is kind of amazing. Like he is great in the movie, whether you like it or not. So there's that. Well, listen, I'm so sorry that we got our signals crossed in terms of this countdown format. But I'll be brief in my number. Where are we?
Five.
4. No, 5 was Titan for me. My number
Okay,
4
perfect.
is Frankenstein, the Guillermo del Toro movie. Um, I this one I have seen twice. The first time I watched it on Netflix like everyone else because I couldn't. They made it really difficult to go see it on the big screen. But the second time they were replaying it again, and I did go see it on the big screen, and I thought it was a much more beautiful experience. Look, there's been a
Mm.
million versions of Frankenstein. So it's really depending on what you personally relate to out of that story. For me, and I think we all have a great deal of affection for Guillermo in general, just because we all feel like he's one of us. I think it's the movie like he was destined to make eventually, and I think I like all his films. I like the earlier Spanish ones more than the latter ones because they're all beautiful and have great stuff in them. But I always feel like he's one step shy of making something truly great. And to me, Frankenstein is truly great. Um, is it perfect? No. On my second viewing, I wish the first half was tighter than the second half,
Mhm.
but I still love it. I still think it's beautiful, and there's beautiful stuff in it. So you can watch it on Netflix right now. But yeah,
Right.
Frankenstein's my number 4 pick
I love the second half of it. It's really the most beautiful depiction of the monster I think we've seen in
ever.
cinema.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I think I agree with you. The first half, I agree. Maybe it could have been a little tight. And I remember texting you while I was watching it. The first 20 minutes, I was like, Rob, I don't know what this is doing that's different than, like, say, the 94 version, which I kind of love, is
yeah,
doing. And then, yeah, yeah, then he knocks it out. It's a
yeah,
beautiful looking movie, too. I wish I'd
yeah.
seen it on the big screen. I really want to see it without, like, horrible Netflix compression, you know?
Yeah. We saw it up here in a theater printed to film, which was quite good.
Yeah,
Oh,
Just
yeah.
exquisite. Yeah.
Well, I
Burnett.
have to believe Criterion's going to do a release of it because they
They
tend to
are.
do
Oh,
all of
sure.
Guillermo's movies now.
They
Yeah,
are? Okay.
Yep.
yeah.
Somehow you got to your 4. I haven't even done my number 5 yet. So we're gonna
Oh, okay.
Oh,
So
go
you're
ahead.
number
so maybe
5. How did
Let's
these
catch
compare?
up.
I'll do 2 back to back. Okay. Next one I'm gonna put is Talk to Me, which
Yeah,
we've
excellent.
talked about in our previous episodes. It's like, what can I say? I touched on earlier about seeing grief in movies, but there's not accurately portrayed in horror films. And I know you talked about how that movie really nails how lonely grief is, which it
Yes.
absolutely does.
Yeah.
That film, I think of everything that's on my list, even if it's not the top, is the scariest. I mean, that's
Mm.
just a freaky, freaky movie. Um, there's not a lot of movies that give me that feeling for like 2 hours afterwards. Like, do I need to leave a light on tonight? um,
Yeah.
my number one for that is
Yeah.
actually Blair Witch, even though that's not the narrative storytelling style that matches any of the other movies we're talking about. But yeah, Talk to Me lingered. Like, I want to see
Mm.
that again, but it's also one of those like, ooh, got to be in the mood for it. It's
Yeah.
good scares, but it's just flat out scary.
Yeah. Yeah. That's not.
And
It's a little bit
kind of
higher on my
amazed by that
list.
movie.
So yeah, I'll talk about it a little bit more when we get to it on
All
my
right.
end. But
If
what's
you don't
your
mind,
other
I'm
one?
going to do 2 back to
Yeah.
back to get us caught up. My next one's actually from last year, and it's Brian Fuller's Dust Bunny.
Oh, great.
I
Yeah,
don't
This
know.
yeah.
I mean, they got to catch up with that.
I mean, I would like to smack whoever did the theatrical bookings for that because I mean that should have been everywhere, and I feel like it was hard to find for some people. Like, wasn't it should have gotten a much monstrous release. That movie is such a Valentine to cinema. There's so little dialogue in the first act. It's kind of like Jean-Pierre Jeunet and Marc Caro, the guys that did like a Delicatessen and City of Lost Children, and then
Mm.
Jean-Pierre went off to do Amelie. Picture if they remade Leon for Amblin. It's
Ah,
like a kid's gateway horror, like a young girl feels there's a monster under her bed and finds an assassin to try to take it out, and then it becomes about their friendship. I smiled nonstop through that movie. It's scary in the way that like if I had a 7-year-old son brought it, he'd be like, that was scary, but what else can we see? It's just a great gateway horror film. It's so what they call it, like French maximalism is the design. Like the movie's
mm.
like you could frame all through it. I was like whispering to my wife, like, I want to still frame of that. We'll hang it on my wall. It's just so exquisitely designed. It's a more is more movie, and I wish they would do one of those giant coffee table books showing how they broke down how they did everything on the filmmaking for it. So I'm glad that it's on demand now. I don't know what's going on with a streaming release or the disc release, but hopefully soon because it's a movie that like some kid's going to see and either become like a genre fan for life or want to get into filmmaking.
Yeah. And I mean, Mads Mikkelsen is the assassin, and he's one of my all-time favorite actors ever. And
So
and I,
cool.
I always hate that most American audiences only know him as like the villain in like Casino Royale or what's the more recent one, Indiana Jones. And it's like you have no idea the work that guy has done, especially I mean, just look at the original Pusher trilogy.
Yeah, I was going to
There,
say
there
reference films. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, none of these are genre, but he did two films in 2020 called Riders of Justice and Another Round, and those are my two favorite films, not only of that year, but of the last like 10 years. He's an incredible, incredible actor, and this sounds like
Yeah.
just like a perfect role for him.
He's,
So I
he's
can't
like
wait to
like a
see it.
dark charisma machine, and
Yeah.
this movie knows exactly how. I feel like he may have been. I was seeing a bit of an interview with Brian Fuller recently, and talking about like the maddening minutia of who you're allowed to cast based on
Yeah.
budgeteers and the
Mm.
metrics and all that shit. And I think he started with Mads. It was always like this is Mads, but
Yeah.
they had to go to like people who wouldn't even give it a second look and like just waiting and waiting and waiting uh and eventually I guess they do the metrics and they're like, yeah, Mads is, I mean, he's an international superstar. I mean, yeah, we all know him as Hannibal stateside, but
Yeah. And what a great Hannibal. I remember one thing where he was having trouble figuring out with Brian who Hannibal was. And then finally Mads just said, oh, he's the devil. Like, you want me to play him that he's the devil. Okay, got it.
I mean,
And
but like it's one of those great examples. Like, well, no one else can play this part. Are you kidding me? It is this, and then you see it and you're like, I guess it's Mads now.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, I love
Incredible.
him. I love
But
him.
yeah, Dust Bunny it's another cozy blanket kind of experience. I can't imagine someone coming out of that and being like, I wasn't thrilled.
Yeah.
So good.
Well, I've got three left. Mike, how many do you have left? Did we lose our count?
I
Nope.
have
I
three
should
now.
have. I'm going by year. I have the three. Yeah, three left.
We're caught up.
Okay, so my number three is a film from 2024, another female French filmmaker, The Substance, directed by Coralie
Mhm.
Fargiat. Um, I mean, most people have now seen this film, especially genre fans. I was fortunate enough to get to see it a little bit early at a trade screening. As a theatrical booker, you get to see things on the big screen early, and so you could talk to your theater owners about it. And it's one of the rare times that my boss had come with me, and he's a little bit older and not into genre films or anything. We both were like, first of all, I don't know, the last act of that movie just completely shook us to our core physically and made us ill. But then we walked out and I'm like, we can't play that in theaters, can we? Like that was one of the most insane things I've ever seen. You probably know what it's about by now, but it's Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley are two sides of the same coin. Basically, a drug enables her to become the younger, better version of herself. It's a scathing satire on just Hollywood and the way people are looked at. It's an incredible body horror film, and it's two extraordinary performances by both of them. So this just ticks all of my boxes, and I rather like her first feature a lot, Revenge. And before that, she has one short film. I'm drawing a blank on the name, but it's on Mubi. And I just think she's an extraordinary filmmaker. I can't say for sure. I mean, she seems according to the interviews I've seen, she seems like a very interesting filmmaker. I've heard through the grapevine that she hates horror and doesn't want to be considered a horror movie, which is insane to me. But that's fine because I think she had went to a film festival, and the story is she went to a film festival and saw the premiere of, I want to say, Mulholland Drive. It was definitely a David Lynch movie. I'm pretty sure it was Lost Highway or Mulholland Drive, and that made her want to be a director a little bit later in life. Not even like not like a college student that wanted to do film. It was just a little bit later, and she saw that and she's like, yes, this is what I have to do. And so far, I think she's 2 for 2. So The Substance is my number 3.
That movie's it's as subtle as a cinder block to the face, and I actually love it for that, you know?
Yeah.
I know a lot of people were like, trying to compare to Cronenberg and like it's like, no, that story's told exactly at the volume it needs to be told at.
And quick funny story about this. Our good dear old friend Tom Holland, who is in our book repeatedly, the Fright Night Tom Holland, not the Spider-Man one. I talk to him very sporadically. It's usually via email, and sometimes I see him in person, but it's very rare that he will pick up a phone and call me. And one night I saw he was calling me, and I was like, oh my God, I hope everything's okay. And I answer the phone, and he's like, Rob G, have you seen this movie, The Substance? I'm watching it right now, and it's fucking great. And like, he just wanted to talk about The Substance for like 20 minutes, and I thought it was the sweetest, most enduring thing ever. And I'm like, yes, I've seen it. So Tom Holland is a big fan of The Substance.
We should get him on for his top 6.
Oh my God, that'd be hilarious. Yeah. Maybe a feature episode. All right, Mike, where are you at number 3?
Well, I'm at 2023 on my top. I have so 2023 was an interesting year. There's let's see, we have in my top 5 for that year. I really love Jen Wexler's The Sacrifice Game, which is kind of like The Holdovers meets The Manson Family. Our
Wow.
friend Ted Geoghegan did Brooklyn 45, this sort of almost like a Twilight Zone kind of film. But there's this one movie that kind of slipped through the cracks and like the streaming cracks, and I went back to it. I thought, when I was like going through all these movies, like, oh wait a minute, I love that movie. It was David Slade's Dark Harvest, which is based on a novel called Dark Harvest.
Yeah.
It's set in the 60s. It's about this town that has a curse. And it's kind of like the lottery. Every year, the boys in the town have to go fight this monster and stop it from getting to the town church, where something really terrible is going to happen. It's like a kind of pumpkin head creature. And only one boy has to die, and all the boys are fighting each other. It's super, super Halloween. It's like drenched in fall. It's drenched in Halloween imagery. And if you missed it, I really highly recommend you go take a look at it. It's definitely got, especially around like the Halloween season. I think you'll really enjoy it. It was also another film that came out 2023. This alien thriller called No One Will Save You.
Oh yeah,
Which is
I was on Hulu.
done
I think,
almost it's on Hulu, almost entirely without dialogue. Really, really unsettled me. At least the first hour is very unsettling. It goes, you know how it goes. It gets a little off.
What did you think of that bonkers ending?
Yeah, it was all right. Really was really more into the first hour of it when it was super quiet.
It's a lean scare machine.
Yeah,
but I do love seeing a movie like that's got a budget that healthy take such a crazy big swing by the end.
Huge.
You know?
Yeah, that was one I wish had made it to theaters. I think it premiered on Hulu as an exclusive.
Yeah.
And as I was watching, I was like, man, I would have loved to have seen this on a big screen.
That's what I felt about. I think Dark Harvest premiered on Prime and just didn't get any. And it's a pretty good watch. I think you'll enjoy it. It's not that, like I said, it's not deep. It's not like some of the movies we're talking about. Like it's nothing. It's not saying a little bit, but it's a great little spooky Halloween movie.
Cool. All right,
We also
Adam.
have my other one here. My other,
Oh,
I liked it. You hated it from 2023. I don't know if you guys caught up
okay.
with Jason Eisner's Kids versus Aliens. Um,
Oh
No.
no.
oh, Jason, I did the Hobo with the Shotgun
Sure.
Yeah, yeah,
years
Yeah.
yeah.
ago. This is this. This is an I guess one of those feature length versions of a shorter film he did for one of the VHS movies, and
Oh.
it is like 10 and 11-year-old kids uh, coming in conflict with these really nasty aliens, and it's a really mean, gory, kind of vicious movie. It is kids versus aliens, and terrible, horrible things happen to these children, and it's definitely not for everybody. It's like a 90s Nickelodeon sitcom with a gory body count. So try to catch up with that. I don't want to say any more about
Wow.
Wow, I'm sold.
Adam, number
Yeah,
three.
3, yeah. We're bouncing on the timeline, but this is just going to
it.
take
Yeah.
me to last year, and it's maybe the most, actually, I can't even say it's the most Hollywood. It's the most Hollywood budget, but it's completely British, which would be 28 years later. That
Okay.
movie wasn't what I expected at all, but
Mm,
it, but I, but it was absolutely what I needed.
Mhm.
mm.
The original that's probably my favorite horror film of the aughts.
Wow. Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah. The
it's
original's
great to
great.
see Danny Boyle, older elder statesman director with the same 20-year-old punk energy that he's never ever lost, and the same sort of unorthodox filming techniques. It's like, let's mount all these great lenses on iPhones and get a look that is
Right.
not a phone look, but is not film, and it's not typical digital, but is absolutely what that story needs. Nobody can do needle drops like this guy, and even the score is so interesting and unusual. It feels like the UK Resolve trying to pull themselves up by their bootstraps with brain damage. I don't know how to explain it. I
Yeah.
don't know how to articulate it, but there's so much in there. And we were talking about big swings and big budget films, and I feel like that one has every 20 minutes, especially the ending. But, in some ways, it's like, if I was glad to see his take on dystopia, especially after this much time. And,
Mm.
I would, even though it's a different, more kind of grounded style, but the Bone Temple, I think they're excellent back to back stories. But to see Danny come back and do 28 years later again, and hopefully he'll still get to do the third one and close out this story they've been leading to.
They
But
better. I'd be pissed
that's
if they don't. But I think they greenlit
yeah.
the third one officially.
Well, they did quite some time ago because the second one was getting raves in sneak previews.
Yeah.
I'm a little worried that because it didn't do as gangbustery as the first one did it in the box office, that they might get gun shy, but hopefully not, because that's only thinking about the theater count, and
Right.
there's I
Definitely
think
released too close together. I don't know why what that was the logic behind that was. Because it
Well,
didn't,
I
I don't
think
think
they
it gave
just made
28.
them. They made them back to back, and so I
right.
think
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
kind of like,
Okay.
let's do
But
six
it was
months
like 6
apart.
months.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you
Yeah.
doing? You didn't give 28 years later enough time to breathe before you brought this the sequel back. So
No,
Well, and it's
they're both
interesting
absolutely
because
worth it. Yeah.
yeah, and it's interesting because here in the States, Sony is pretty much the only company that does not have a streaming service. They just license all their stuff to Netflix, and
Right.
that's why they're still
mm,
doing well, and these movies are profitable to them. So for them, doing it 6 months apart, you could see 28 years later on Netflix here, and then go see the new one in
okay.
theory. But I saw it while I was in France, the new one, Bone Temple. And
Mhm.
you cannot, and their streaming window is like 17 months, which is why theaters are doing well there.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
you can't even see the first movie anywhere in a country like France. Really quick, because since you mentioned it, and the new one is on my notable mentions. I'm glad that you feel that way. I was really disappointed by this one, the one that Danny Boyle did, only because I don't know. Maybe my bar was just way too high because I hold Danny Boyle and now Alex Garland in such high regard in terms of the quality of stuff they do.
Mhm.
And we've had 20, almost 30 years of zombie stuff, especially on television, especially with The Walking Dead. And that movie to me, and I mean, now again, I think it'll be recontextualized as the third one comes out, and
Yeah.
it already is. I want
Yeah.
to revisit this one now that I've seen Bone Temple. I just felt like it was an episode of a show and not a movie. And when I go to the movies,
Mhm.
I want a movie. I want a middle, beginning, and end, so that if they never make another one, I won't be like, wow, they left me kind of hanging. So
Yeah.
I had a very negative reaction when I initially saw it, but I loved the Bone Temple. Loved it. Like that's what I was hoping the first film would
I
be.
I
And I
think you'll
almost
dig
wish
it
there
when
were
you go
one
back without
movie.
the expectations because there were a lot of
Yeah.
them. I just was somehow I was able to mentally pivot and be like, okay, this is fine, you know.
Well, and that's kind of how I walked away from the Bone Temple is thinking, okay, so if they close this out with the third film, which I can't wait for, they left it in a place where I'm like, I need to see how this concludes.
Mhm.
I think contextually it'll be like in a couple of years to look back on the five films as a whole
Right.
is going to be really interesting. That'll be like, wow, okay, this is what this franchise was. Basically when that last one came out last year, I couldn't see the bigger picture. I was just worried about that one entry. And now I'm like, oh, okay, this is going to be an
I
interesting five film arc, even though they don't really count the second one. I think the second one's really good. So
Yeah, no, I
we'll
know.
see.
I think there's I know some people who especially halfway through the first film, the third film really, uh, their interest fell off a little bit, and I also feel like, yeah, it's its own movie, but it's also really Act One, you know, and
Yeah.
now you're seeing more of it, so it's like, okay,
Mm.
I see where this was going. I don't feel like things are left out. I think as long as they stick the landing, I mean, they will in terms of creatively, but as long as they keep their commitment and do the third, we'll be able to see them all and be like, okay, I absolutely get it and it works. It's, it's a
Yeah.
6 hour story, you know?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I'm up to my number two. Are we still on the same page here?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sure.
This is a film that really took me by surprise from 2023. It was so close to being my number one and it is a movie I've now watched at least 3 or 4 times, and I have a copy of the import here. Believe it or not, it is Godzilla minus one. Uh,
Oh,
Godzilla
yeah.
counts. Godzilla was on the cover of Fangoria number one. It is a monster movie, and I am as much as I like Adam Wingard as a filmmaker. I really dislike what they're doing in the American movies with Kong, and it's just very silly. Whereas
Hmm.
this, I had no expectation for. I rather liked. There was one before this. Shin Godzilla was a really interesting. I don't love that movie, but it was a really interesting take on literally a movie monster that we've had for decades and decades. But Godzilla minus one as a one-off could be like one of the most perfect Godzilla movies ever made. It's so
Loved it.
good. I put it
I
up
loved it.
there. It's on par as like a modern Jaws. It's got the characters, the dynamics, the
Hmm.
emotion. The monster is scary, and he actually does considerable damage. And to this day, like sometimes people do these like reaction videos online. There is well, I don't even want to call it a twist, but there's like a midpoint character death that is so shocking and
Hmm.
that emotionally hits you that I like to watch people on YouTube reacting to it just because it reminds me like, oh yeah. It is one of the most satisfying theatrical experiences I've ever had. And every time I revisit it, I still love it just as much as the last time, and I see more in it. And so inspiring considering the director um, Takashi Yamakaski has an effect in visual effects, and this movie did not cost that much money. That it was just such a
Yeah.
lesson to Hollywood
It's,
that what was it, under 10 million or something like that,
I
and
think it's 15, but that's what
It's
5% of
nothing.
what it would
Yeah.
normally be made for. It's
so
like,
compared to Godzilla versus Kong, like come on,
oh,
it
no,
looks
the
everything
effects
in
are,
it looks amazing.
it's lean and it's spare with its, I mean, it's like this, I don't know, Christopher Nolan war drama, excellent family film that happens to have a terrifying monster in it. It's just,
Yes,
yeah, it's phenomenal filmmaking. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So that's my
I
number
did not
two.
expect to have moments of having my breath taken away and be in a cold sweat at a
Yeah,
Godzilla picture. Like
yeah,
you just expect that to just be like throwing popcorn, which is great. But
yeah.
yeah, that's I also hope I know he's going to do a sequel now, right?
Yeah, I mean they started it and they dated it for I think next year.
Okay.
Mm.
I think he has one original feature in between. Fingers
I hope
crossed.
so.
Because
That's what I was going to say as much as I'd like to see him do another Godzilla movie, I'd like to just see him just do more movies.
yeah, and I'm cautiously optimistic but ambivalent about it because it's like I kind of don't. I think the movie's so perfect that I don't want any more of it. If that makes
True.
any
Yeah,
sense.
yeah. I
I would
didn't say
prefer
we
it to be a
needed one.
one-off,
I just said I would go.
but I trust him as a filmmaker that if he does make another one, I'm sure it'll be cool. So that's
Mhm.
that's the hope. Fingers crossed. But
Cool.
all right,
Who's
Mike,
next
what's
for
your number two? Or at this point, you're at what, 2021?
got two
Well, I'm
left?
at
Yeah.
2021. Another good year. We had *Malignant* that year. James Wan's really wacky, crazy movie. That's an insane movie.
Yeah.
Also had with Nia DaCosta's *Candyman* reboot, which was a lot of fun and kind of really, really great. I stumbled up. This is another one that I felt like got lost in either streaming or but there's this little horror comedy that Josh Rubin directed called *Werewolves Within*, which
Mm.
is a kind of a murder mystery werewolf movie set in this is up in Alaska. It's got a great cast. And it's just I think the only movie that year that I watched three times. They kept bringing people over to watch it because I had
Wow.
such a great time with it. Um, it's who's it's kind of like who's the werewolf here. It's kind of a blast. There was also that year. I must mention it because it takes place on an airplane. But Blood Red Sky, which
Oh
is the
yeah.
it's nonstop action. I loved it. Nonstop
It was a
vampire,
Netflix movie,
Nosferatu.
right?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so, but it's I think it's German. Is it? It's not German. It's you put monsters on an airplane, and I am all in. So
Yeah.
anything with any aviation antics. So
Nice.
that was my
Adam,
2021.
That's also I wrote down I must see Werewolves Within, but I was also like I should also see Turbulence 3. It's been a long time enough.
heavy metal,
Blood Red
masterpiece.
Sky is Turbulence 3 with vampires.
Good, good back to back. Okay, number two. Okay, this is one that it's funny when you were making your sort of general like jog your memory lists. I noticed you didn't
Mm.
have on there, but
Okay.
my number two is from 2021, and it's Come True.
Oh yeah. Oh my
Anthony
God. How
Scott
could I
Burns'
forget that?
Pilot Priest films.
Yeah.
Is that one's really stayed with me, and it's like surrealism's hard to nail and disorienting dream logic, but it's about a young woman who is clearly suffering, and you can get a sense that she doesn't have a good relationship with her mother, and she doesn't sleep at home. But when she does sleep, if she gets any rest, she's dreaming of these like just horrifying shadow figures, and it
Mm,
seems like she's being led through this like bizarre underworld. She stumbles upon a sleep study program where they're basically just going to hook her up to machines and measure kind of the electrical activity of thought. And what they're really doing is they can actually, in a way, experience and see what she's going through.
Mm.
But you start to realize that, you feel like some of the people in the sleep study know more than they're letting on or getting a little too obsessed with her. Other people are dreaming about this same figure, and it ties into the experience of sleep paralysis. And you really feel like it's nailing something like this archetype that's like all buried in our subconscious. And it has a lot of turns that some are quite jarring, but it is almost a kind of like dream logic. It's like, wait a minute, how did we end up here? It's like, well, that dreams are kind of like that. It's
Yeah.
not in it's difficult in a really enjoyable way. The lead actress's performance is excellent. It's it's not a big budget movie. I think it was like 300 grand, 400 grand, but I love what I've read about the production history. Like usually when a director, I hear that, oh, this guy directs and writes and edits and scores and like that. Usually the more titles get me the more wary. But Anthony Scott Burns nails every single one of them over and over and over, and it feels really handmade and
Mm.
personal. And I know he did it kind of as a reaction to, I think, making his directorial debut with a much slightly bigger budget film that wasn't, he, I guess, butted heads with the money people and did not really get to do it the way he intended. And
Yeah.
this is 100% him.
Yeah.
And I also love that he arranged kind of this movie was made with the footprint of a student film. Like it's like 6 or 7 people. That means everybody was doing multiple hats, but like he was able to do that and then get maybe like 50, 60 days of shooting to really take his time and really let stuff breathe. And like, there's a lot of great stories that suffer because they shoot them in 15 days, because
Yeah.
they just don't have the budget to really stretch that with a big crew. But Come True does. It's really great. There's like a couple of like mesmerizing lower budget scary Canadian films over the past few years, like a Beyond the Black Rainbow, and
Yeah.
like
Mm.
those are two films that make me excited to work on films up here,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
No, Come True's great.
and I I know he's got two. I don't know where he's at. Like I get a lot of reports here about what films are getting Canadian funding, like we were talking earlier about that. And very quietly, they announced a new movie from him in there called
Mm.
Telephone. I don't know anything else about it. I've heard he might be working with Gail Ann Hurd, and I don't know if it's that film or something
Mm.
else, but I have a
Oh,
feeling like
wow.
I'm
Mm.
hoping that he's going to get a little more of a budget and resources. Not that anything's lacking in Come True, but so he
Yeah.
can keep that distinctive thing he's doing at a larger scale so more people could see it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I keep coming back to that one, and it's pretty great in my opinion. That's my number two.
Yeah, I'm due to rewatch that one, quite frankly, because I got to see an early cut of it. Anthony Scott Burns is not only a great filmmaker, but a great person, and he does music under the moniker of Pilot Priest,
Yeah,
and he was kind enough to let me use a lot of Pilot Priest music in my documentary Analog Love. If you haven't heard Pilot Priest, he has there's one album. He's got a ton of stuff online, but the one album in particular, original motion picture soundtrack, which is it's all named after 80s movies that he loved, is just an incredible piece of music. So yeah, Come True. I definitely want to recheck that one out again.
the soundtrack is
Um,
funny enough for Come True. I play that all the time. That's a good one
yeah.
to write to.
Yeah, I mean he did the music too. Again, I know you
Hmm.
said it's like sometimes when you see that name on all those roles, you get a little suspect, but I think it was necessity for him to be able to do it correct, like take his time and do everything exactly
Yeah,
as he wanted
but
based on the last feature.
he's excellent in every single position. So
Yeah,
I now I kind of hope he does that with every movie.
yeah,
So
yeah.
give him my regards. It's very cool.
Uh, are we down to the number one at
I
this
think we're
point?
on
I
our
think
last
we
ones.
are.
Yeah.
Okay, so my number one has already been mentioned, but I'll be brief about it. It is 100% Talk to Me from 2022. Again, two films that I picked by Danny and Michael Philippou. I've talked a little bit about this experience before, but I got to see that one on the big screen a little bit early, right before release. And it was not too long after I had lost my mom, so I was grieving about that. And this movie just hit me like a ton of bricks because, again, as we've already mentioned, I didn't know how to articulate my grief, and again, the loneliness aspect of it. It's not that people don't want to reach out; they just don't know what to say. And I'd never seen a film, genre or otherwise, that captured that as well as Talk to Me. Because basically, this
Mm.
girl, it's a debut performance from Sophie Wilde, who's incredible, really, really great. And it's basically, she her mom committed suicide, and it's almost like all the other kids treat it like it's contagious. Like, oh, she's still talking about that thing, which is horrible. You would think people would be a little bit more compassionate, but you know what? I remember being a teenager, and that's how kids were to me back then. So I was really taken aback by that. And then you have this weird conceit of just this creepy hand that gives you a little crack in the door to the other side, and what you would do to just talk to your loved one again. I just thought it was scary, and I know this is as bold a statement as it gets, but I hadn't felt that like shaken off my equilibrium since the original Nightmare on Elm Street. Like it reminded me of how it felt
Yeah.
when I saw Nightmare on Elm Street, and I was just kind of like, "Oh my God, what is this? I've never seen anything quite like it." It kind of shook me to my core in that way too, where I thought, yeah, there was some scary stuff in there, and I didn't know what was real and not, again, we've since talked to them, but at that moment I was like, who the hell made this movie? Like who are these brothers? What are they doing? And again, I think we're so between them and the two French directors, like I think there's so much exciting stuff, and it's so exciting. That was kind of the key of Icons when we were starting, is like getting to see
Hmm.
filmmakers at the very beginning of their career and getting excited about, wow, and then, well, what are they going to do in the next
What's to
decade
come?
or two?
Mhm.
What's to come? So those guys, no matter what they do, I'm all in. And again, based on our interview with Danny in our book, um, it's they have an idea for Talk to Me too, but he's like, I one or two more movies and then I'll go back to the sequel. And I think that's very smart. If we get 3 or 4 original films from them before they circle back to a sequel, then I think that's exciting to me. So Talk to Me is my number one by far.
I'm really intrigued to see if I like that too, that they're letting it breathe. And with the exception of the 28 Years Later trilogy, it feels like they do that now. Like people really take their time with sequels instead of cranking them out every year and a half. But I'll be very interested to see if, I mean, they can kind of go anywhere. Is it another story of that hand? Does it take place
Mhm.
before that film? Is it after? Or will they continue the story with some characters from
Yeah,
the first one? They really created such an interesting world with that
yeah,
movie.
yeah,
And
for
I'd be
sure.
happy to spend time with anyone from the first film or new people like having that experience. Yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty,
What about
Mike.
you, Mike?
I would
You're done.
definitely put that. It's yeah. I mean, if I was going to pick a number one, it would be Talk to Me out of the last 6 years. Um,
Now, did you have
yeah,
a
it's
similar
it's
experience with that as Bring Her Back? Like in terms
no,
of
no.
how
If
it
I
made you
was able
feel?
to finish, no, I was able to. It made it's it starts out. It's interesting because it's the way it does start with the grieving, but then it becomes you get into these kids who are sharing this weird experience with the hand, and it's like it's is it going to be kind of a teen movie,
Yeah.
And I like that it sort of dances around that without ever becoming it. Um, but no, I was able to finish it. Obviously, this was when I could get all the way through. Um, yeah, it's yeah. I'm sorry. I go on.
That's okay.
Uh,
Well, we're down. Do you have a
yeah.
number one? Or are you down to 2020 right now?
No, I was down to 2020, but 2020 there was this
Not a
fucking
lot.
scary movie going on called America,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I looked at the list of films that were released because it's that whole year is a blur.
Yeah,
Um,
it is.
I mean, we had right before everything went sideways, we had Lee Winnell's The Invisible Man, which I liked a
Okay.
lot. I don't know if it was like if that's like a top number one. There's also I didn't see it till like 2 years later, but David Pryor's The Empty Man kind of came out,
Mm,
and that's a bad vibes movie that I also had trouble uh getting all the way through. It's a real sort of you know cold cold experience. And
mm.
there was so much we missed that year. There's stuff that was shuffled around. So what, I don't really have anything there for 2020 except those two films. Sorry about that.
It's okay. Do you have any notable mentions in general, things that really stuck out for you that weren't in the
Over
top six?
Yeah, I'm gonna go through a couple of these. There's a lot of stuff that the last couple of years, there's stuff I wanted to catch up with. There's a lot of like I want to see this. I was going through the list of films that released, and I realized, man, I have not seen a lot of these movies from 2020. I've heard great things about Brian Bertino's Dark and the Wicked, which I haven't seen.
Mhm.
There was a Japanese remake of Cube. Anyone catch that one from
No.
2021?
Yeah, I want to see that.
That's
I love Cube.
I want to see that. Um, Other honorable mentions to any more that I like that everybody else hated. I loved Old. I love M. Night Shyamalan. I don't He can never do any wrong by me.
I do too.
So don't give me like
I'm
that's a movie that feels like a bad dream all the way through, that you're not waking up from, and I liked it. It's unsettling and creepy in some good ways.
I
Um,
I totally agree. My favorite thing was I was
yeah.
going to see that on my birthday. Everyone's like, "Oh, you seen a movie on your birthday? What is it?" Old.
That's pretty
I
funny.
sure hope we get to see more. I love the Pope's Exorcist for
Oh,
just for a laugh. I mean, it's a great little fun movie. You know, Russell's phenomenal, kind of fun in it with his Italian accent and his Vespa.
yes.
Um, I could definitely, he's got 500 exorcisms to go, so I do hope we see more of him,
Mhm.
like the James Bond of exorcisms, of
Yeah.
exorcists running through, going from country to country. Um, Anything I haven't else I wanted to see? I know. Did anyone catch Chuck Russell's Witchboard remake? Haven't seen that
No,
yet.
not
No,
yet.
not
Not
yet.
yet.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see a Witchboard remake, but I'm also intrigued to see a Witchboard remake from Chuck Russell. It seems, how did that happen?
I
You
don't
know?
know. That's an odd one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's an odd one. And I'm
I
looking forward to. I just found Luc Besson has a Dracula movie coming out.
I may go
Didn't.
see it right after we finish this, to be honest. It's playing in
Okay.
theaters
I
now.
just found out about it because I feel like I'm so out of the loop. The other day, I'm like, oh, Dracula. Didn't we just do Dracula last year with oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh Luc Besson. Okay, sure. Here we go.
It's just coming out here, but I was just in France and it already came out there last year, so it was
I
on
know it's
Blu-ray,
done like
and I
gangbusters
debated
all over the
buying it.
place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I debated buying it, but I'm like, no, I'm gonna go see it on a big screen as soon as I can when I get
Right.
back home. That's
All
cool.
right.
Adam, do you have notable mentions for us?
I do, but I'll give you a little more on my number one, even though we spoiled
Oh,
it
go
in the
ahead.
beginning of the
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
which was
That's okay,
Oddity.
please.
Oddity would be
yeah.
my top one of the
Oddity's
past
great.
6 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great film. It's a murder mystery. It's a supernatural horror. How much of it is supernatural is up to debate until maybe three-quarters of the way through the movie. And one thing I really love about that film's atmosphere is like life is so crazy and agitating now that like stillness feels like a gift. So I love
Mm,
when someone really knows how to use stillness and quiet in a movie, and that
Mm.
film really, really does.
really does.
It's patient storytelling, you know? Uh, very disturbing, creepy, fun. I'm mad I don't have that on Blu-ray. I'm gonna have to get that soon. But yeah,
Yeah.
that would be my cozy blanket. Irish horror film would be my number one.
Yeah.
Notable mentions. I have quite a few. I'll just kind of quickly run down them and not.
Sure.
One would be Brandon Cronenberg's Infinity Pool.
Oh, I love
Okay.
that.
That one I walked into
Love
pretty
that.
blind and was like, "What the
Yeah.
fucking earth?" It was like it feels like it's exploring a lot of the themes and stuff that Triangle of Sadness did, but in its own
Mhm.
like instead of going, this is the message, it's like I'm just gonna tell you this fucked up story and you'll
Right.
figure out what we're doing with like class and rich versus poor and that kind of thing. Ty West's Pearl trilogy. I don't know exactly how it's
Oh, yeah.
designated, but that's pretty great.
I loved Pearl. I
Pearl.
didn't see X. I've been meaning to catch up with X, so I caught it right in the middle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any problem with that. No, I loved Pearl.
Yeah.
It's
Pearl's my
interesting.
favorite of the three, for sure.
Yeah.
I did, me too, but I did watch them. I thought about doing it that way because it would be like then you go to X to find out where's Pearl now, but it, seeing them in the order they made them works quite well. But that trilogy is quite solid. In terms of smaller, cool films like you mentioned, Jen Wexler's Sacrifice Game and Ted Brooklyn's Brooklyn 45, both excellent. Slapface is an indie horror film I'm quite a fan of from Jeremiah Kipp.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Let's see.
Oh.
I don't know if there are horror aspects to I Saw the TV Glow. I think it's kind of reductive to put it in a genre box,
Okay.
but
I want to catch up with that one. That's been on my that, and also we're all going to the World's Fair. I haven't seen yet, and
I'm
really
really
want to.
both of those films. I think Jane Schoenbrunn is one of the most original, cool filmmakers. They're doing some really
Yeah.
interesting stuff in both of those films, even though they don't have horror endings, or you could debate in a way that they do. They're two of the most haunting endings think I've seen in any movies in the past like 20 years. They're hard. We would need an entire other episode to break down those movies, but it's just really cool, original, haunting filmmaking. Do I have anyone else? Blackcoat's Daughter. I certainly do love what I see from Oz Perkins, but that one definitely stuck with me in terms of just being unsettling, and it's very. He's kind of a painter to me instead of just a movie director. Like he really knows how to
Mhm.
sculpt with image and sound in such interesting ways. Any other ones? We talked about In a Violent Nature, The Substance.
Anybody get Skinamarink? Anyone else get Skinamarink?
I like your review where you're like, I've been watching a shot of crown molding on a
I was
wall
watching
for 42
crown molding
minutes.
for 20 minutes. Yeah.
I
made a lot of money. Made a ton of money. So
Not
good for
that
them.
much money, let's be honest.
I know enough, way more than it probably
Enough.
should have.
Enough for filming
yeah.
a corner of a
it's,
room.
it's a
sure.
unique voice.
Yeah,
I
it
can't
is.
say I liked it,
is.
but I would go
Yeah,
see the next thing that guy does because it's such an
Absolutely.
offbeat point of view, you know?
That was a bold move putting that in all those theaters too. That's
Yeah.
I like that. Keep
I've got-
doing that.
One other honorable mention I'm going to put in full disclosure. I know the director who made this, but I do actually admire it quite a bit is indie horror called Wormtown.
Okay.
This is Cranked Up Films put this out. It's on demand. I think you may be able to stream it on Prime as well. It's an Ohio-based and Ohio-shot horror film about a strain of parasitic worms that gets into a town's basically it gets into the mayor's literal brain, and he managed. And then it cuts to a year later, and the entire town is kind of decimated. Nobody is out in the daytime. Everybody is the few people you do see at night are obviously clearly like in some sort of cult. It's a bit of a mind control parasite film.
Adam,
Very,
I think you've been watching Fox News.
I'm not going to say the symbolism isn't a little bit obvious, but it's certainly got an interesting, like, we're just jump into this new story and try to catch up narrative vibe. The effects are completely grotesque, and it's a little low budget movie. They made it in like 13 days, but it's not like usually if you only have that kind of schedule, or it's usually one kind of story, it feels like, to a degree. And this one's a lot more ambitious than that. But so I was quite impressed with how that one came out.
Cool.
I think that covers every single thing I was going to talk about.
Excellent. I have a couple of quick notable mentions, and we'll make it brief. In terms of taking wild swings for a sequel, I really loved Smile 2. It was the reason. Like, I liked the first one, but I kind of loved the second one, and I thought that inspired the new interview with Parker Finn that's in our Icons book, because I just thought there was so much ambition in that, and I felt like he was like, okay, I'm doing a horror sequel, but I'm going to do musical numbers to show you that I could direct that too. I could do comedy. I could do drama. Like, I felt like here's a director that's just going to throw everything he can possibly get into the form of this sequel, put it out into the world, and then it's like, okay, now I'm going to go remake Possession. So it's like, it's kind of wild that he took that wild swing. We mentioned Oz Perkins before. I don't know if the movie will hold up. I saw it twice in theaters. I loved the experience of Longlegs. I loved how everyone started talking about it. I loved Nicolas Cage getting a little moment in the horror world. I loved the debates about people that loved it, that hated it, etc. And just everything around the release of Longlegs felt exciting to me. And I hadn't seen that in a genre movie in a long time.
Super cool marketing campaign too.
The marketing was great, and the performances
really good.
are cool. Again, the more I think about it, I don't know if it holds up, because I enjoyed the first experience, and then I saw it a second time with friends at the Vista Theater because they were showing a film print. And as it finished, I was walking out and I bumped into Bob Murawski, who is an Oscar-winning director, but Oscar-winning editor. He's the editor for all of Sam Raimi's stuff, including Send Help, which is another honorable mention. And I said to Bob, I was like, oh, hey, was this like your first time seeing it? And he like scoffed at me like, first and only time. And I was like, okay, so he definitely had a negative reaction to that one. By the way, shout out to Bob, because not only did he edit Send Help, which I think is Sam Raimi in top form, he's the main editor, but him and Amy Duddleton, who edited the Psycho remake, Gus Van Sant, and is a friend of mine, they both edited The First Omen, which I think is a pretty
I love
cool
The First
movie.
Omen.
Oh my God, how did we not have that on our list?
I don't know what we didn't mention.
That's a solid.
I know it's on my list. Oh,
it's solid. Yeah.
That's
so
like
good.
right up Mike's alley. Like, I saw that movie and thought,
completely.
like, did somebody make this in the 70s and they're just releasing
it
now?
It's so 70s. It's like that. It feels like, it just feels exactly like one of those Italian, like, studio knockoff movies in many ways, because it's got the Italian setting, and it is weird. It feels like, like, you ever see like Beyond the Door or something like that? That's got that, like, that's kind of like scrappy Italian vibe. But it's doing its own thing, and it feels really grounded, and it doesn't look like any other studio. Disney produced this thing. Crazy.
Yeah, it was very surprising. That lead actress director, that's like award worthy.
Yeah. And I haven't seen it yet, but at the same time, everyone was doing these double bills of that and Immaculate, the Sydney Sweeney nun movie. So I haven't seen that Immaculate.
Yet.
Yeah. I feel like that's probably a good time. And really quickly, I know a lot of people don't like or get this movie, but I really enjoyed Steven Soderbergh's Presence. And I thought it was so fascinating that he made this movie Presence and what's the Black Bag at the same time. I thought they were like he was 2 for 2 right there with just completely 180 type movies. Presence in the same regard as in a Violent Nature, which is basically just
Mhm.
from the perspective of the killer. Presence is a ghost story, kind of from the perspective of the ghost, and I thought that was like I'm sure maybe other people have done it, but I thought Soderbergh doing it, it was
Yeah.
brilliant. And the lead actress is Kalina Liang. She's great. And I thought that was the first time I'd seen her. And she's now, here's the tie back to the Philippou brothers. She's now Chung Li in the Street Fighter remake. So she almost
Which
worked with the
they were
the
gonna
movie.
do and then passed on or something, right?
Yes, but the Street Fighter
Yeah.
movie is done and actually
Okay.
going to come out
Done.
with a different
Ready.
director. And she is in that as the character Chung Li. And
Just go. Oh,
what's
sorry.
that?
Go ahead. No, go
Oh,
ahead.
and
Go ahead.
I just had one last film that it's a very obscure French film. I believe it's currently streaming on Mubi, and
Mhm.
it's very short, and I loved it. It is called Humanist Vampire Seeking Consenting
Oh,
Suicidal
I've heard all
Person.
about this. Is yeah.
It is I mean, it's like a darkly comedic take on a young girl who's part of a vampire family, but she's
Mhm.
the one, she's the outcast. She doesn't want to kill people. She doesn't want to feed on them. It's like, oh, this is what I have to do. And so basically she seeks out somebody online that is suicidal and meets up with this guy. And this doesn't spoil much. It's just the basic conceit is basically he knows like, oh, you're a vampire and you're gonna drain me of my life. Great. If this is my last night on Earth, I'd like to just do a bunch of stuff that I would never have the courage to do anyway. So it's kind of like almost like like an after hours like hangout movie where it's like, all right, before I drain your blood and kill you, yes, go do everything you want to do and I'll join you for it. And it is
Mhm.
just it's so charming and fun and funny, and I really, really liked it. And that title, Humanistic Vampire Seeking Consenting Suicidal Person. I can't even say it.
I love it.
It's quite good. I would strongly recommend that if you're just looking for something kind of out there. But yeah, that's all my notable mentions, and
Cool.
that's
I
my
just want to
top
go
six
back
of
to
six.
I just want to go back to Oz Perkins for a minute. Did anyone catch the monkey? Which
Yes,
I also loved. Sorry. No, no
talk
one,
about a
no.
180 from
Talking
from
about a
long
180.
legs. Yeah.
Wow. But it's one of my favorite little subgenres of horror movies are taking a Stephen King short story and stretching it out and seeing what you can do with it and doing your own damn thing. And sometimes you get the Lawnmower Man, but
Yeah.
sometimes you get an understated masterpiece, an overlooked masterpiece like Toby Hooper's The Mangler, which I think Oz Perkins the Monkey would pair really well with on a double feature. Because it's
Ah.
got that really weird, wacky energy. Um, I never, I just, I don't know what movie I was watching. I know what movie I was expecting, which is a movie about a monkey statue that kills people, and it was something entirely else. It had a really strange feel to it. I don't,
Well, it's it's
I loved
darkly
it.
funny. It's darkly
It's
Yeah.
super
funny.
darkly funny. It's really funny. Yeah.
Yeah, and I can't remember if I brought this up when we did the previous podcast, but what immediately stuck out to me was because you look at his other films and they're pretty serious, they're dark, they tackle
Right.
all these dark themes. So I just assumed like, okay, Oz is going to be a serious horror filmmaker. But then we had him on the Shockwaves podcast, and you could see him kind of light up when he talked. There were a few things we brought up, but basically, he's like when he was a kid, he had a sleepover party and he made everybody watch The Toxic Avenger, and he got all gleeful about showing everybody that movie. And then when I asked him, "Is there anything that you would have remade?" Like, obviously you're doing your own thing. And he just lit up and he's like, Friday the 13th. And I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah, Jason's my guy. So when I saw the monkey, that devious kid that showed his friends Toxic Avenger and wanted to remake a Jason Voorhees movie, I was like, oh, there he is. That's this is that movie that he would have made. And yeah, I think it's a lot of fun. I have not seen Keeper yet. I know a
Let's see
lot of
that.
people are mixed on it, but here's the thing. I'm just excited that he's just taken wild swings in all these different directions now. He's
Yeah.
got the opportunity. He's going to make a bunch of very different movies. So more power to Oz Perkins, man.
He's just wrapped his newest one, which is
Yeah.
another genre film with Nicole Kidman is probably the Johnny Knoxville's in it. They just wrapped it up here.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's cool. Yeah, I mean more power to him. I'm excited
Love
about
it.
voices like that doing genre films. So Well, anyways, that's it. So that's our top 6 sort of the last 6 years. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to let us know some other ones that we didn't mention, I think we all picked a pretty cool, diverse batch of films. And I don't know when exactly, but we shall return.
We shall return.
We shall return. In the meantime, we hope you've enjoyed this. And by all means, please pick up Icons of Fright 100 Reviews with legendary horror filmmakers. You can find this on Amazon, on hardcover, paperback, and Kindle. And that's it. Thank you so much for supporting Icons of Fright, and we will see you soon.
Thank you. See you next time.
Is your home library feeling a little dull? Spice it up with some scary good books from Harker Press. We've got books on your favorite franchises and filmmakers loaded with new interviews and never-before-seen photos, many of which are also available on Audible. Learn more at harkerpress.com.